Windsor Castle has stood 25 miles outside London for nearly 1,000 years. It is the oldest continuously inhabited castle in the world, serving as the home to 39 different monarchs. Written history excels at recording treaties, coronations, and dates, but it often misses the individual human experience. It struggles to preserve the raw trauma, the grief, or the anger that occurred behind these stone walls. This graphic plots 25 documented hauntings recorded within the castle walls. Spaced across a 1,000-year axis, these points align into a chronological record of Britain's emotional history. When analyzed, these reports gather into distinct clusters. The specific behaviors mirror the realities of the ruling dynasty. A walk through Windsor's corridors offers a view into the psychological evolution of an empire, documented through centuries of reported encounters. The Tudor dynasty was defined by dominant personalities and absolute power. In these accounts, death appears to amplify the traits these monarchs possessed in life. Witnesses in the Dean's Cloister report the sound of heavy footsteps and the distinct dragging of a diseased leg. These sounds are often followed by an authoritative voice demanding the location of a wife. It is the reported presence of Henry VIII, still projecting the same aggressive command he held in life. His daughter, Elizabeth I, is described quite differently. Her spirit is most frequently seen in the royal library. Historians researching Tudor manuscripts report feeling a presence quietly observing their work, only to see the queen seated across from them, reading silently before she eventually vanishes. For the Tudors, the need for control and their sharp intellect remain the defining characteristics of their reported hauntings. By the 17th century, the nature of the reports shifted. The Stuart era, marked by civil war and political execution, is characterized by accounts of spirits caught in moments of profound suffering. Charles I was the only English monarch executed by his own people. His spirit is described as a sorrowful figure eternally kneeling in prayer, wearing the same black velvet clothes and white silk shirt he chose for his final day on the scaffold. Lady Margaret Pole suffered a brutal, botched execution, struck 11 times by the axe. On the anniversary of her death, witnesses report hearing her cries echoing from the stone walls, sounds so distressing that they have moved staff members to tears. During the Georgian era, the reports suggest a transition from physical violence to psychological isolation. King George III, who struggled with madness in his final years, is frequently seen in full military uniform, standing rigid at the library window and staring out at the grounds. These accounts suggest that the trauma of political revolution and the fear of personal decline left a lasting mark on the castle's history. The Victorian era is defined by reports of intense personal grief. Following the sudden death of Prince Albert, Queen Victoria wore black mourning clothes for 40 years. Victoria conducted séances in the Blue Room, attempting to contact Albert's spirit. In 1977, a housekeeper reported seeing the Queen's ghost whispering to Albert's portrait. When the apparition faded, witnesses discovered a single wet spot on the carpet beneath the painting that could not be explained by a leak or a spill. As the castle entered the 20th century, the reported sightings modernized. King Edward VII was known for his love of luxury. Today, staff in the Green Drawing Room detect the heavy, woody scent of expensive Cuban cigars in a room smoke-free for decades. Even the devastating impact of modern warfare left a permanent impression. During heavy thunderstorms, guards have reported seeing figures in steel helmets and gas masks patrolling the battlements, phantom air raid wardens from the Second World War still scanning the skies for enemy aircraft. Over 9 centuries, these accounts evolved, moving from medieval tragedies to expressions of private mourning and modern wartime anxiety. Most of these stories focus on the monarchs, the architects of the castle's history. But Windsor was also built and maintained by thousands of laborers who were never mentioned in the official archives. Beyond the royalty, the castle harbors accounts of the Nameless 10. These are the spirits of the servants, soldiers, and prisoners whose individual identities were lost to time. During early morning shifts, kitchen staff report the sound of frantic scrubbing coming from empty sinks. It is attributed to a Victorian scullery maid, a young woman in a stained apron who appears to be eternally repeating the labor that defined her life. Along the tree-lined avenue of the Long Walk, witnesses describe an anonymous guardsman in a red tunic and bearskin hat. He marches with military precision along the same route guards have walked for generations, before vanishing mid-step. In the lower levels of the round tower, the sound of heavy iron chains dragging across stone floors recalls the anonymous prisoners held in the castle's early dungeons. Official history books may divide humanity by social rank, but inside the corridors of Windsor, the reports of the laborers are documented as frequently as those of the royalty. These accounts suggest that the presence of a scullery maid or a sentry is as enduring as that of a monarch.